So a mission team of the Africa Risk Capacity Group arrived in Nigeria at the weekend for a three-day working visit. The team, led by the Chief Executive Officer, Lesley Ndlovu, is looking to engage some government agencies and others to discuss strategies and a new program of disaster risk mitigation intervention for Nigeria. Joining us now for an exclusive interview on their first day of mission to the country is Lesley Ndlovu, the CEO of the Africa Risk Capacity himself. We appreciate your coming on Arise Exchange tonight.
Good evening to you and to the viewers. It's a great pleasure and absolute delight to be in Nigeria this week.
Thank you very much. Lesley, what are the key objectives or focus of your mission visit to Nigeria?
We are here in Nigeria to engage with the Nigerian government and also to meet with the Nigerian private insurance sector. As you know, our mandate at ARC is to provide disaster risk management and financing solutions that encompass both the national level and also the private sector, given the importance of agriculture that we have on the continent.
When you say government departments and maybe private sector stakeholders, who are you meeting with specifically?
So today I had the good opportunity to meet with the Commissioner of Insurance. Tomorrow I will meet with officials from the Ministry of Finance and the Ministry of Agriculture and the Central Bank of Nigeria, because what we often realize is that in most countries, the responsibility for disaster risk management and financing sits with a number of different ministries, and it's therefore important for us to take the opportunity to really meet with the totality of the ministries that are concerned. Secondly, we are also meeting with the private sector players because we are looking to provide reinsurance capacity and training to the local insurance industry. Already in Nigeria, there is a fairly sizable market for agricultural insurance, and we're looking to grow that significantly over the next few years.
But are you designing, is the ARC designing any new program with Nigeria at this time, and what will be the focus of that?
So we are deepening our engagement with the government of Nigeria to provide them with an insurance solution targeting the biggest natural disasters that they face. So far at the African Risk Capacity, we offer insurance against drought, rather I should say, and we are shortly going to be expanding into offering insurance coverage against flood, and this will be the axis of our new engagement with the Nigerian government.
So, but how much has been achieved so far between the ARC and Nigeria, especially under your last mission to the country in 2018?
The progress has been tremendous over the last two to 3 years, and we are grateful to the Nigerian government for the cooperation and the speedy collaboration that they've had with us. Concretely, we have completed the risk profiling work to help the Nigerian government understand their natural disaster risk exposures. We have been engaged in discussions with NERSAL, the National Agricultural Insurance Scheme, looking to support them as they expand and grow the scheme. And as I mentioned to you earlier, we are also working with the local insurance industry to provide added reinsurance capacity and support the growth of agricultural insurance. You should have in mind the fact that agriculture is the mainstay of the African economy. Over the next 5 years, it's estimated that there will be investments of around $25 billion getting into the agricultural sector. Insurance is an important component of ensuring the resilience of the sector and protecting this massive investment that's going into the industry. And the African Risk Capacity is proud to be playing a leading role in developing customized insurance solutions for the continent.
What level of funding or the size are you looking at ARC for Nigeria in terms of disaster risk mitigation?
So then, because our insurance coverage is demand-led, it means that we work with the Nigerian government to create a customized solution and level of coverage. But generally speaking, it's around the region of $30 million in terms of providing insurance coverage that will allow very speedy responses to the effect of natural disasters when they unfortunately occur.
So when you look at Nigeria and other countries across Africa, at least in sub-Saharan Africa, in which you've traveled in recent weeks and months and all of that, even within West Africa, are you seeing a pattern of disaster risk issues that looks like a template for a number of countries within the SSA region?
You are exactly right. You know, every country is different, but there are some similarities. As a general statement, there has been tremendous improvement on the disaster risk management and financing side of things. Countries better understand the risks that they face and the important role that insurance can play in mitigating those risks. There is generally, across the board, a much better and more well thought out process on how to work with institutions like ARC, which wasn't always the case, and I think is testament to the effective collaboration that exists between ARC and its member states.
Okay, so what would you specifically, your team, what specifically would you be looking to see from the government side and on the private sector side? Are there specific issues you would want them to address when it comes to this disaster risk management or mitigation process? Are there specific focus, objectives, or functions? What would you want them to do?
Yeah, that is a very good question, and I will start with the private sector. On the private sector side, what we would really like to see in the market is much greater access to distribution of insurance. One of the big challenges that generally we face is access to the final customer, bearing in mind that most of our customers and beneficiaries of the programs are small to medium scale farmers, and therefore it's not cost effective to access them one at a time. What we really need is to have aggregations of farmers so that we are able to effectively and efficiently serve their needs. On the government side, the government can play a very big role in catalyzing the market because they have access to the data, they have access to the farmers, and they can be important in sensitizing the farmers about the need for insurance. And I will hasten to point out that it's not just the federal government that I'm talking about, it's also the state governments, since they have much closer proximity to their citizens.
So in terms of this funding, for example, support, if it comes, say, it's $30 million, how do you distribute that at ARC? How does it get to the last man, the farmer, that needs it? Is it coming straight to the government, or where's the distribution of that? How do you disburse?
So then, as part of the process of working with the government, we develop a contingency plan, and the contingency plan sets out at a very high level how the government would utilize any insurance payout that they receive from ARC. Then whenever there is a natural disaster or it's looking likely that there will be a payout, we then request the government to prepare a FIP, a final implementation plan, which again sets out in more detail how exactly the funds would be utilized. And it is through this plan that we ensure that the funds are getting to the intended beneficiaries. But most importantly, having a plan also increases dramatically the speed of execution, because at the point that the government receives the money for the claim, it already has a set-out plan on how the funds will be utilized. Following the disbursement of the funds and the implementation of the relief efforts, we then have a post-implementation audit in which we check whether the funds have been used in accordance with the final implementation plan. And this process ensures that there is speed, there is accountability, and there is transparency in the utilization of the payouts.
On a final note, give me a quick look into your 2020 financial statements. What are the highlights or key line items for me?
So in 2020, what we're particularly proud of at the African Risk Capacity is the number of people that have benefited from our insurance coverage. We had a record year in terms of participation in the sovereign risk pool. And for us, this is important because it means that we are reaching ever greater numbers of Africans that really need this insurance coverage. And we believe that working very closely with our member states, we will be able to expand access to insurance in Africa and close the protection gap, all of which will make us as a continent more resilient and protect the economic development gains that we have made over the last few years.
Just for the last few seconds, where do you go next on your mission visit?
So I have come specifically for meetings in Nigeria. I think given Nigeria's preeminent position on the continent, after Nigeria, I will travel to South Africa to continue to spread, I think, the message on the importance of insurance and offer practical solutions to the governments and also to the private sector insurance industry.
Well, thank you so much for your time this evening and wish you all the best while here in Nigeria and when you